that's pretty good. So there you go. Here's one thing that I think makes this app what's the word? Awesome. And we can produce a light table down, and I didn't even know you could do that. And how cool is that? So it's not in the way. You can sort of leave it up there. How cool is that? When you're using a Wacom tablet and you're trying to draw things, and you're sort of want to sort of like shading that in over there, okay, and I really want to sort of shade it in at that angle now. And if I try and do that for where I am, it's when I'm not very good at drawing anyway. So that basically doesn't look like that, does it? And that's because I'm trying to angle my hand around, but I'm actually not turning the paper around, so that it becomes sort of a bit cumbersome to go and sort of do that. Well, lucky for us, we've got TV Paint animation demo, and what we've got here is a really cool, unique-ish feature. Not many applications can do this. I think Corel Paint can do this. You can click on this and you can turn your canvas around, and how cool is that? So I can now do things at an angle wherever I want it to be. I can click over here, I can turn it upside down, so I want it to be sort of there, and now I can do that sort of there, and I can, where it feels comfortable for me. So actually, that will be my preference for that, and that's quite easy to do now. So my hand isn't at an awkward angle. I haven't got to move my Wacom tablet around. I'm not going to get RSI for doing those sort of repetitious ways of filling things in. That is a really cool feature. Now, so you can click and drag that around, okay? And I think if you hover over that with your right hand mouse button, you can probably reset it, and you can. And you've got different presets here. So I can just go and say reset, and that sets it to be the right way up. You also have little keys over here, so I can go in 15-degree increments over here and back again. Okay, and you can also rotate it. It's me desperately trying to figure out which one it was. You can also rotate it by holding down the shift key and the page up and page down keys next to your space bar, to the right of your space bar. You can rotate it around that way. So you've got keyboard shortcuts, you've got in the interface you can use it, and you've got buttons over here, which is quite nice. And you've got presets as well, so you can right hand click over here. Let me get my right hand mouse button, there you go, and I can sort of select one here, and there's your shortcuts for those as well. You can reset as the insert key. I didn't know that until I looked at that. How cool is that? Right, pretty nifty. Okay, so we're doing good here. So we've got one layer on. How cool is that? So I don't want to spend too long around here. So basically we're sort of up and running. We've sort of selected the size of document we're playing with, and we're looking good. And don't forget to get this light table to work. There's a little button here called LT, means light table, and you've got to go and switch that on for that to work. If I go and switch that off, it's actually off because it no longer works. Okay, simple as that. And that is that's just set up with your light table. And I can say you can change the colours, you can make the previous colour whatever you want it to be. You can select any part of the interface. I want it to be sort of this blue, so it's now that blue. And I want this one. Click on that one, and that wants to be, we'll use this buy now thing, we'll go and select that purple up there. Should I go now that? There we go. So that's now that. So we're going to turn this light table back on again. We can sort of see where we're going with that. And there's my previous and post frames on that. How cool is that? Pretty cool. Okay, other things, you've got colour pickers, you've got a slider, way of picking things, RGB, HLS. You've got your standard sort of, or fairly standard colour picker where you go and say I want it a green, and then you say sort of that green, and then oh look, it's that green now. How cool is that? You've got a mixer where you can go and guess what you can do with that. You can sort of go and mix things up, and then go and select a colour from that. And you've got a bin where you can sort of do good things in there. Right, let's go and do a real world scenario. Let's go and reduce this down then. So underneath it, actually if I sort of get rid of that, it'll be better, wouldn't it? Let's get rid of that and say, are you sure you want to close the object? Absolutely positive, so that's gone. What I've done now, you can just open up or import footage, and what I've got here, this is Ripley, my cat, and you see I've got several layers on here. So I've got Ripley the cat. His layer opacity is, well, I can dial it up and dial it down, so I can sort of dial that down a bit or dial it right up. So he's pretty cool. What I'm going to do is draw around him, and you'll see that over here I have drawn around him. If I just drag this layer up, you can see he's got a little sort of line around him. What we're going to do now is take the opacity of the video footage down a tad so we can see what we're looking at. Then we're going to go and zoom in here. So let's go and click and zoom. So that's pretty cool. And we're going to go and need to go and drag this around. So click and drag on here, and that sort of brings him up there, and we'll sort of zoom out a little bit there, and that's pretty cool. So it's looking pretty good at the moment. Let's let's go and click on this and do that. Okay, that's cool. And then we can sort of go, and we're cool with that, and we can see what we're doing. That's nice. Alright, so all we need to do now is just draw around him and then move on to the next frame, draw around him, move on to the next frame, and then what we end up having here is we end up with the little cat sort of walking about, and that's all we're going to do with that. So that's pretty simple. So start him off there and basically off he goes. Now you can see that we are really struggling with detail here. Don't forget we zoomed in, well at the moment we're zoomed into 700% thereabouts, so we haven't got a lot of detail to play with to pick out what is the cat. So a bit of artistic license or a bit of knowledge of what your subject looks like can help. So I'm trying to work out